tell me a little bit about your student that passed away this morning.
Both of them was, as any other student with a lot of talent, interested in using that talent to make other people happy. Both of them was one of those interesting sort of talented people who didn't know that he was as talented as he was, and so his friends encouraged him to audition for my group. And when he did, I was just really happy to see him, because his spirit was, you know, he had a good voice, and it was but it was his passion and his spirit that made him so exciting on stage. And
it made him different.
Yeah, he was living what he had inside of him. The idea that he wanted to serve, he wanted to make people happy, he wanted them to feed off of the gift that he had been given, so that he didn't keep the gift himself, because he was one of those rare students who understood, in order to keep a gift, you give it away. That's how you get it back. You give it away. And so he did that, and it was beautiful to watch.
He sounds like an incredible person. I mean, that with just a huge heart.
Oh yeah, he was very strongly motivated to serve other people. He didn't just serve in this group. I mean, Good News Singers is dedicated to going around the country, and I mean, even in the world, we've gone many places. And we tour a lot and sing to a lot of people, and our goal is to elevate their spirits, to make them happier about the struggle of mankind on planet Earth. And so he understood that, and so he worked that angle of his life and understood what he was supposed to be doing. But it wasn't just Good News Singers with Botham. Botham was a man who went around serving people without being asked. And if you were able to ask the people he worked with, which I know several of those, they would say he was the nicest guy they ever met. He would do things without being asked, and then he would do it for no honor. It wasn't to credit Botham. It was to serve humans, to make the world a better place, to eliminate the tragedy of hatred in our world, and to elevate the joy of love.
What did Botham teach you in life?
A couple of things about singing that I wasn't used to, and because he had such a spirit about it. He sang the song, if you heard it a few minutes ago, Little Talk with Jesus, and he put some things in there because of his spirit that that shows you can step out of the shell of the shape of a song and enter into the spirit of a song, and it makes the song better. And so that's one of the things. The other thing is he taught me a lot about a humble servanthood, how to serve people just as yourself. He didn't, after performances, he didn't go out and try to achieve recognition. He would humbly go about wrapping up chords and putting our sound system away, and people would have to go to him to say, nice job, Botham. He was so busy trying to do what was right, and it wasn't about him. He's one of those rare people.
Losing him, did it bring you back? Because I'm sure as a professor, students come and go.
They do.
You essentially, it sounds like you kind of lost him twice.
Well,
is that?
I don't ever lose my kids. They stay in touch with me.
Okay.
Both of them's been in touch with me since he moved to Dallas. I don't disconnect with. I call them my children because they are my children. And if you check my phone for messages right now, they'll be from all of the kids in the Good News Singers who were with both of them, because that's a little family. We travel together, we live together, we eat together, and we spend miles on the road. And while we're on the road, we get to know each other. What else do you do on a bus for 8 hours or 10 hours? You get to know each other. And so his ability to communicate with his friends, to wrap around the idea of we're all in this together, the whole team. I didn't lose him when he left. I never lose my kids. I keep up with them.
You stay in contact.
I do. And so this was a shock to my system because I still had him. And now I don't. And that's tough.
When you say he was still in your system, what does that mean?
Oh, that means like I've got videos from him when he came back to see us last spring.
Your computer system.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So was he with other graduates down in Dallas, or are there people from your group?
No, he was working with an accounting firm, I believe, down there, and that's
Smart kid.
Yeah, very smart kid. He knew what he wanted to do, and he had such a focus at success that there was no doubt he was going to be successful. But yeah, he came up to see us about every 3 months or so. He'd drop by for a visit.
And he was here how recently?
It was March. I've been in Greece all summer, but yeah, it was tough. But he came back. He was here last March.
What was that visit like?
It was nice. He came up and sang with us. You know, that's what he liked to do. He liked to sing, so he would come up here and sing with us and stand. I always invite, when we do a show, I always invite people who were in Good News before to come up and sing with us. And I was happy to have him. He came right up, stood right in the middle with us like he always did. He always stood right square in the middle, and if you look at him on any pictures I've got, he's usually right in the middle, and I love that. But yeah, he comes and visits and sings, but I guess he won't do that anymore.
Will that be hard?
Oh yeah.
No, he'd come back and visit.
Yeah, I always look for my kids.
Did he mention about an upcoming trip back?
No, he hadn't talked about that. I hadn't talked to him since I got back from Greece, and I've been tied up with trying to get the school year started here at the university. But I just attest to the fact that Botham was one of the individuals who was designed by God to make the world a better place. The world will miss him, and I hope that the world doesn't use this occurrence, this tragic event, for anything except good. Sometimes we use a situation like this to bring about more hate, but Botham wasn't about that, and he wouldn't want that to happen. He would want us to figure out some way to turn this into an opportunity to be bigger and more kind and more gentle and live out the words of the songs that he sang.
What will you miss most?
Well, I just miss the visits when they come to visit me. When my young ones come home, it's like having my children come visit for Christmas. And so, yeah, that's what I'll miss.
Boy, the love and support today for you.
Solid, solid.
How does that make you feel?
It feels like God knew what he was doing when he put me here. And I've been blessed enormously by people like Botham. My groups are special. And like I said, they're family. It's not just the 9 other people that were with Botham. It's the family that spreads over the last 20 years since I've been directing that group.
And are you the founding director?
No, it was begun in 1983 by somebody else.
So tell me a little bit about the group and what you guys do.
Oh, we just sing as uplifting and spiritual songs, and it's all a cappella. We do creative arrangements of things. If you ever heard the group Noteworthy from Brigham Young, we're kind of like that group where we integrate harmonies. If you ever hear pentatonics, you listen to their harmonies. We try to do some of those type of things. Harmony to me is a demonstration to the world that we live in that we can all work together. And harmony indicates that. You know, you put a bunch of notes together that on a piece of music would look like a conglomerate of confusion, and it has an opportunity for chaos, and you put that in a piece of harmony, and you hear it, and it's like me picking up a guitar. I can make it sound ugly, or I can make it sound beautiful, and the object of our group is to sound beautiful and then take that beauty out to places where people are not used to seeing or hearing or feeling that kind of unity, that kind of family connection. At Harding University, that's the message of what we do here. We try to spread that. The Good News Singers, we're ambassadors for a university. But bigger than that, we're ambassadors for who we believe is much more important, and that's ambassadors for God.
How do you as the father, as the dad.
I'm that, yeah.
You've always taught your students, your kids, that message, you know, being part of the Good News Singers. I mean, being able to share that uplifting music and not just music, but that passion in the songs. Their faith might be tested today.
Yes.
So how do you uplift them by still using that same faith that you guys have been using in your group for years?
That's really not difficult, because we sing about that all the time. We sing about, the very last song that we've been singing for 20 years at the end of our show is In That Great Getting Up Morning. And what that talks about is there's going to be something beyond this life on planet Earth. You know, we get so frustrated with this planet. It's like I would tell anyone who comes to me and says, how do you deal with the loss of someone? And it's a tragic loss. It's a senseless loss. It doesn't make any reasonable person say, oh, that should have happened. In fact, everybody says this shouldn't have happened. There's no reason this would have happened. And so how do you deal with that? Well, if you have faith in God, you understand that the bigger picture is not on planet Earth, it's after planet Earth. And we believe that. And we believe that already both of them's up there singing with the angels, and we're going to join him. And we'll get together and we'll sing with him. And it'll be one day, we don't know when, and he didn't know which day it was going to be either. But I guarantee you, in our eyes, he's happy. And he's having a great time up there, and he's singing. And that's a good thing.
What do you think he's singing?
He's probably singing Just a Little Talk with Jesus. And then he's probably having a little talk with Jesus. That's my guess.
Is there anything else you want to share?
I can't think of anything right off. I think it's wise to not try to make anything that both of them wouldn't want us to make out of his loss, the loss of his life. You know, I don't think he'd want us to make him an emissary of anything except living a life that makes other people happy, that gives joy to the people around him. And I don't think I would want to step on that. I think it's not a terrible thing after we get over our own loss. You know, we're humans. We get sad when we lose somebody. But in the overall scheme of life and death and understanding what this is all about, what really matters is that we believe he was meaningfully here. He had a life that meant something, and it was an important life. He was significant. He'll be missed, but he was very effective, very much loved, and he did what he needed to do while he was here, which is a message to everybody. Do what you do while you're here, because you don't know that you'll have tomorrow. So that's what he would say probably, but let him say that.
Good deal. You did a great job.
Oh, thanks.
See if you guys just want to keep talking. I'll get some cutaway shots.
Thank you for your time.
It's no problem. I loved that boy, and he was a boy until he became a man, and I get to watch him do that. You know, you can't find anybody that's more thankful for what they get to do than I am. I get to hang with kids all day long, and I get to teach them some things that will make their life better.